Welcome to the Simply Vegan podcast, brought to you by the team at Vegan Food and Living, the UK's best-selling vegan magazine. I'm Holly Johnson, and each Tuesday I get together with my colleague Molly Pickering to share what we've been eating, what's got us thinking, and the new products that are worth trying. And don't miss our Thursday podcast, where we chat to some of the leading names in veganism. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we'd love it if you hit the subscribe button, as it helps us to rate in the charts. It also means you'll be alerted to every new episode of your favourite podcast. Well, today I'm joined by Clare Every, otherwise known as the Little London Vegan. It's so great to have you on the show, Clare. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really well. I'm really well. I'm just about ready for winter to be over now. But I'm fine.
I am like so done with it. From literally as soon as Christmas is over, that's it. I'm ready for like summer.
I know. I grew up in Australia, so this is really. I feel like I should have gotten used to it by now, but still, I'm just like, winter's really long.
Yes, it is. This is the worst bit. I mean, yeah, you need to sort of go back over to Australia, I reckon, during this period.
No, I am. I'm about to go over next month, so I really shouldn't complain.
I follow you on social media, and you're just sort of a breath of fresh air. You brighten up everyone's feeds with your sort of smiley, happy face and your amazing array of dishes that you sort of go out and taste test. It must be the best job ever.
Honestly, I actually think it is. I really would struggle to find a job that I could enjoy more than this. It's so great. The best thing is I just never thought it was going to be a job either. It's just when I first started doing it, like being an influencer wasn't a thing. So yeah, I've been as surprised as everyone else. So I'm just going with it. I'm just hoping it never ends.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's everyone's dream, isn't it? Earning money from kind of, their Instagram account or whatever. We'll get onto that in a minute. Tell us about your journey into veganism then. Presumably you haven't been vegan all your life.
No, actually very far from it. I would say I was probably one of the biggest meat eaters I knew, probably about 4 years ago. And I distinctly remember saying to someone when someone came around for dinner, they were veggie, and I was like, that's so weird. Like, that's just such an odd thing to do. And I think my friends and family were quite surprised when I decided to go vegan. But it's the classic story, really. I watched a few documentaries and I had my eyes opened a little bit, and I thought, maybe I could actually be doing something a little bit more than I'm doing here. So I really just went for it, but it wasn't an overnight success story. Like, it did take me quite a long time, back and forth. I tried to give up fish, and then it would be cheese, and I would go back to it. And, I have a lot of respect for the people that did it 25 years ago, because I thought 4 years ago it was hard when you couldn't get a sandwich in the supermarket. Yeah. So I have no idea how people did it like 25 years ago. But yeah, it took me a little while to come around to it. But I think it's been about 3.5, 4 years now.
Yeah, so it must be about the same time as me then. How strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We jumped on the bandwagon. And like you, I never thought I'd go vegan or veggie, because even though I wanted to go veggie, I just didn't want to kind of say, I kind of felt like as soon as I said that was it. I couldn't ever eat a prawn again, or a piece of, fish or whatever. And everyone would kind of be like, oh, well, you're not vegetarian anymore because you ate this.
It's so true. I actually think that's one of the biggest problems with what puts people off of trying veganism or giving it a go, is that they think it's, I guess it is, very black and white. So people think, well, if I mess up, then I can't keep trying. Or if I feel like I can't do it for 5 or 7 days a week, then I shouldn't do it at all. And yeah, I kind of, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if people can do as much as they can, especially when you're easing in, I think that's the best way to go about it. Certainly for myself, it was.
Definitely. Yeah. I think we need as many people as possible sort of doing it imperfectly now, don't we?
Definitely. And just trying vegan food, just giving it a go and thinking, oh my God, actually, this does have some flavor, as opposed to what I've been told vegan food is like. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think it should be like.
Well, you're definitely proving people wrong if they think that vegan food is boring. I mean, your feed is just the most colourful feed ever. When did you set up the Little London Vegan then?
Do you know what? I've had the Instagram page for so long. I mean, it's actually so embarrassing. I don't always admit this, but it actually started out as like a workout page called like Clare's Workouts or something equally cringe. And then it eventually went to, I think it was called Coconut Kitchen, and it was focused on recipes. Again, like I was still eating meat at this time. This was probably like 8 or 9 years ago. And then because I've always loved restaurants, and that's really what I wanted to always post about. I couldn't afford to do it all the time. So, when I went to a restaurant, I'd post about it, but it wasn't very updated. It wasn't updated very often. And that was when I changed my name to the Little London Foodie, which I had for quite a long time, actually. And then eventually when I went vegan, I switched the name to the Little London Vegan. And it was so funny, actually. I remember when I changed my name, I'd been vegan and I'd been posting vegan food for about maybe 6 months. And I had quite a lot of people say, I can't believe you've gone vegan. Like, I'm not going to enjoy your posts anymore. And I was like, I've been posting about it for 6 months and you didn't know. So I think you'll be fine.
Just goes to show. Oh, I'm glad you do that, because I've changed the name of my Instagram account.
Have you? Oh, what have you had? What names have you had?
Well, I think I went, I used to work in the wedding industry on wedding titles. Okay. And so when I kind of went freelance, I was like, oh, I'm going to have my own wedding blog. But it never really lit my fire, it never really kind of like got me passionate enough to post about things every day. But then I think when you find your thing, like I have with veganism, I mean, still my Instagram is still absolutely rubbish. However, obviously I'm doing the podcast and things like that. So I think it's finding your passion, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Because I think it's just Instagram is such a continuous thing. I mean, it's a 24/7 job. And if you don't enjoy it, it will become apparent very quickly. And I see a lot of people burn out because they're doing something that they think people will like, but it's not actually what they love. So I think it's key. I think it's key to be really passionate about what you're posting.
So how does it work then? You presumably get invited along to restaurants in London and other places as well?
Yeah, so mainly in London, obviously that's sort of my market, but I'm actually starting a little bit of a series this year where I'm traveling to different cities, probably around the UK to begin with, but then also around the world as well. I've got, I know, I've got like a Kentucky tour organized at in August later in the year, which explores like 5 or 6 different cities around Europe. So it's all going to kind of tie into that, because I love posting about London and that's my passion, but I really think that veganism is kind of nailed here, and I want to get people traveling to different places, and I want to get different cities around the world realizing that there is a demand for vegan food. So that's kind of where I want to go with it. But yeah, let's see if my finances can afford it, shall we?
That sounds amazing, traveling the world blogging about vegan restaurants.
I know.
Sure, you don't need like a secretary or something to take along with you.
Oh, send me a resume.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'm in. So let's start with London. Could you pick your favorite place? If you say like you had your best friend, she's coming to stay, or he's coming to stay, they might not even be vegan. Where are you going to take them to really impress them?
Do you know what? I don't want to say the dreaded question, because it's a good question, but it's so hard to pick one place in London, which is great because it shows how far veganism has come. But we really do just have so many options here at the moment. I think if you follow my Instagram, it probably doesn't come as much of a surprise to you that I will mention Tofu Vegan, which is a fully vegan Chinese restaurant in Angel. And I don't know if it's because I love it so much or because every time I see one of my friends, they're like, can we go to that restaurant that you post about all the time? And I'm like, yeah, I know the one. And I take my friends there, most of whom are not vegan, and they absolutely love it. Right. And I think they've just done it so well. The menu's huge. It's not just veggie dishes. It is like some meat imitation dishes as well. So you've kind of got a choice, like whatever path you want to go down. And they've just done really well. Like they're just fully booked like 3 weeks in advance all the time now. And I think they've just really hit a niche because everyone loves Chinese food, right?
Yeah, definitely. Wow, 3-week waiting list. That's incredible.
I know, it's nuts, isn't it? Absolutely nuts.
So is this your full-time job now?
Yes, I am officially a professional eater. That is my full-time job. It's insane. I love it. I'm very, very lucky. But yeah, like I said to you before, I never really thought that it was a possibility that it could be a job. Like I ran my page alongside a full-time job for 7 or 8 years. I worked in advertising, and it was just a hobby, and then it started to get a little bit busier. And I went down to like part-time at the advertising agency. And then after probably a couple of years, I was like, I'm going to leave. And they were like, yeah, we're not that surprised, to be honest. You're literally always doing your blog. So yeah, but it's my full-time job now, which is nuts. I never get over saying that.
It's just the dream job. Well, like you were saying, you've partnered with youth travel operator Contiki.
Yes.
It's a one-off European vegan foodie trip. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So basically, it's the first ever vegan food trip they've ever run. So I feel really excited, and I really want to make it the best trip ever, so they do more of them. And it's just basically a dream trip for anyone who loves food. I mean, whether you're vegan or not, we're just going to be traveling to lots of amazing cities, tasting vegan food. So we're going to Budapest and Berlin and Vienna and Prague, and it's going to be summer, so it's going to be warm. And we're doing some absolutely amazing things. Like I don't know if you've heard of Eat With. Have you heard of Eat With? They're like a supper club.
No, I don't think so.
They're so good. I actually posted about them recently. I worked with them to tell people about what they do in London. They're so cool. And we're actually going to one of those in Berlin, so we'll get to eat with the local people there, which will be really cool. We're also going to one of the world's largest vegan festivals. So it's just going to be a ton of food while we walk around in the sunshine exploring Europe. Like I'd like to get much better than that. I know. I'll sign you up.
Yes.
I need my secretary to come with me, of course.
Well, of course, yes. I'll, carry your bags, take notes, whatever you need. Perhaps do a few shots for Instagram, or not actually. That sounds absolutely incredible. So, which place would you say, if you're sort of going around Europe, is the best for vegan food, and which would you say is perhaps the worst places to avoid?
So I had a big plan to go and travel to lots of different places, and then COVID happened. So I haven't explored as many places as I would like to have done as a vegan, but I have been to Berlin before, and I thought their vegan scene was amazing. Like just so many options there, and it's just a very cool place, isn't it? The whole city is just like East London. Yeah, I really liked it there, so I'm looking forward to going back there. Worst, I would say I had to go to the south of France a few times for work, and I was in Cannes, and oh my goodness, it was so bad that I actually went to a pizza restaurant and ordered a vegan pizza, which was called The Vegan, and it came out and it was vegetarian. It had cheese all over it, and I was just like, oh, we've got such a long way to go. So yeah, maybe I know Paris is getting a lot better, but yeah, I guess it's the same in many countries. Once you get out of the city, it does get a little bit harder. So this is why I guess this trip is going to be so good, because you don't have to think about anything. It's kind of all planned for you. You don't have to worry about what you can eat and looking at a menu for 3 weeks before you visit the country. It's nice.
Yeah, I went to Barcelona for my sister's hen do a few years ago, actually. And there's a few good places there, but it was tricky because some of us were meat eaters and some of us were veggie, some of us were vegan. So it's trying to find places where people can get their, I don't know, vodka prawns or whatever they do, tapas. And I could have some nice vegan food, but we did all right, actually. It was pretty good. It's pretty
good. I've heard Barcelona's come quite a long way. Like I feel like every year these cities just improve and improve and improve. So I'd really be interested to go back to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I work with a brand, like a vegan chicken brand called Ayora, I think that's right. And they're based in Barcelona, and they're making big moves over there and like transforming the scene. So I think in a few years' time, it's not going to be too far from London, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Is that Huera?
Yes, well done.
So I love those guys, but I did not ever know how to pronounce it before. So now I do. Thank you.
Honestly, I went on a trip with like a PR trip with them where they were showing us, all about their products, and it took me a good 5 days to get it. And I was like, this is actually quite embarrassing at this point, because I've now been here for 5 days and I still couldn't pronounce it. So I felt quite ignorant, really, but I think I've got it now.
Ayora. So what tips would you give to vegans when they're out and about? Like you said, it's become a lot easier, even just in the last 4 years. But sometimes, I mean, even now, I can be out with my daughter, just out shopping or something in the UK, and it's not always easy just to stop at a cafe, is it, and get something. So what tips would you give people, whether they're going on an aeroplane or whatever, just when people are out and about?
Yeah, I think when you're out and about in the UK, it's tough. Like I've heard a couple of rumors about sites like the vegan scanners, where you can kind of go into a supermarket and scan a QR code and it will tell you if it's vegan. I mean, I think when you've been vegan for a while, you get so used to scanning those, like in supermarkets, you get so used to looking for the items in bold, the ingredients in bold, so you know what to look out for. But it can be quite overwhelming at first. I think with restaurants and cafes, it's a lot easier now. I mean, I use Happy Cow a lot, which I think is so handy. Not just when I'm overseas, but also in the UK. It's super, super handy. Obviously, shameless plug, bloggers like myself are putting together guides all the time, telling people where you can and can't go. Like I've got a map on my website for London and every other city that I've visited in the UK and across the world as well, which has, you know, the place I've gone to, so you can easily find where you are and where things are, and they're categorized. But I'm a bit of a nerd, I guess. I spend quite a long time like researching places I'm going to eat for my trips away, and then I make a little spreadsheet, and it's all it's all done very professionally. But I like to know before I go, because there's nothing worse than getting to a place and thinking I can't find any good vegan options, and then you settle for like a soggy, I don't know, vegetable burger or something, and I just think, I think it's worth that extra hour to just go through and figure out where the good places are. But if you're in a hurry, Happy Cow is amazing. That is such a handy tool. It's just an app that you can go onto and see what's around you and what your options are. So handy.
Yeah, I love planning ahead now, like looking at the menu and thinking about what I'm going to have. It's sort of part of the fun. But like you say, yeah, there's nothing worse than getting somewhere and just have that, especially if you're with meat eaters and they're like, oh, can you eat that? Can you eat this? And I want to say I can eat it, but I'm not going to. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I didn't want a mushroom risotto, okay?
Yeah, exactly. One thing I always think when I see your Instagram posts is, what do you do with all the food? Because sometimes you have like about 10, 15 dishes, don't you? What happens to it all?
I think this is a really valid question. And I used to get kind of annoyed when people asked it, but now I quite like it, because I see, and I have met a lot of bloggers who order lots of food and who don't eat it. And I've always been very big on not wasting food. So whenever I go to a restaurant, you know, it's a tricky one, because the restaurant wants me to advertise the food that's on their menu. So I have to advertise the food that's on their menu. And of course, I want to try as much of their food as possible to tell people whether I can recommend it or not. And so I always bring someone with me who can help me with the photos, you know, whenever I can. And the leftovers always come home with me as well. So that means I always get people saying, like, can you post what you eat when you're at home? And I'm like, not really, because it's pretty much just always leftovers. I'm just living off leftovers. But if that, you know, I've had a lot of times where I don't take the food home, and I maybe see someone on the way home that needs food more than I do, and I'll give it away to them. But they always get eaten or given away or looked after. But yeah, I think there is a bit of a bad trend in the influencer world where people do things for show and maybe they don't look after the leftovers. So that is a bit of a gripe for me, and I could totally understand why people want to know what happens to the food. So yeah, that's what happens to mine. Just always eating.
Never need to cook.
That's it. Yeah.
It is tricky, isn't it? Because myself and my co-host Molly, we get sent a lot of products to try. Yeah. And whilst, you know, we don't get such huge amounts that we can't eat it all, it does come sometimes in a terrible amount of packaging.
Oh yeah.
You know, it might be like one little, I don't know, pack of cheese or a pack of biscuits, and it's literally in this huge box with all this plastic. I mean, some places are amazing, but
yeah, no, that's the other thing as well, is it often comes from like a brand that considered itself quite eco-friendly, and it comes in a lot of packaging. So I don't really take on that many packages now for, you know, unless it's a restaurant, I don't really take anything on, because I was struggling to get through it. But there is a really good app called Olio. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
Oh yeah, I think I have heard of that one.
It's amazing. I use it all the time. I probably say I use it weekly, where you can just go on and upload, I don't know, say you have like a tin of beans that you're just not going to eat, and you think, oh, it's going to go out of date soon, so I need to get rid of them before they go out of date. You can just put it up on this app, and people in your neighborhood will just say, I want to come and collect this, and they'll come and collect it from your door. So it's such a good way to tackle food waste. I've been using it loads now, and I just think it's brilliant. And sometimes you'll get people coming from homeless shelters, so that people will come and collect maybe something in bulk, or they'll go out for the day and just collect loads of food from different people around the neighborhood. It's such a good idea. I think I feel like they're just going to keep growing and growing, that company.
Absolutely brilliant idea. I guess I'm sort of in a small town in the south of the UK. So I'm a bit sort of out of the loop with some of these things. It's sort of less populated. However, yeah, I do sometimes think, you know, if you buy, I don't know, you get a celeriac or something, and you're like, God, how am I going to get through all of this? Like, we're going to eat celeriac for a week. So you could say, you know, half a celeriac. Anyone want it?
Yeah. Honestly, if you put that on Olio, it'll be gone within minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll all have to download that. So if we want to book onto your tour with Kontiki, how do we go about it? How much is it? When is it? Tell us all the details.
You can go to the Kontiki website. I've also got a link that you can find on the bio of my Instagram. It's from the 20th to the 27th of August, so it's 8 days. And I think at the moment they've got it at a slightly reduced price. So it's £1,241. And the only thing it excludes is the external flight. So all the travel within the trip is covered. And I just think it's going to be so fun. I really can't wait. And it'd be so nice just to be traveling again, just to be with other people in, you know, in different countries, and feeling like we're back into the normal world. I can't wait.
Definitely. I think we all deserve a treat, don't we? Some sun, some travel, meeting new people, loads of vegan food. I mean, what could be better?
Honestly, I can't wait. I want to do it now.
Oh, it's been so lovely to chat to you at last, Claire. I sort of wanted to get you on for a while, but due to various things happening, we haven't. So yeah, I'm glad we got to chat. And yeah, everyone head over and follow Claire for a daily dose of sunshine and delicious food.
Thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
Well, that's it for this week from the Simply Vegan podcast. Myself and Molly will be back on Tuesday. And next Thursday, I'm very excited to be chatting to Patrik Baboumian from the Game Changers movie. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.